Caitlin Clark had another, whatever you want to call it, confrontation.
That fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
He's literally driven so many eyeballs to the game. Like, they ain't flying commercial, they're flying charter.
And Clark, by the way, absolutely silenced everybody yesterday. The woke media was all on her. I hate to even mention this complete jackass. Jemele Hill and others were all in her business. It's white privilege. She hits these threes. Man, I don't give a damn if it's white, black, or green privilege. Jemele Hill, she blames the media for covering Caitlin Clark. She's tremendous on television. What a missed opportunity for the national media to really evaluate who she was as a person. Why? Whereas it feels like our black athletes get the same amount of coverage, whereas for black athletes to get the same amount of coverage or even fair coverage, there has to be something extra beyond basketball. No. You choose to do that.
The WNBA has evolved beyond a mere basketball league. It's transformed into an intricate reality show featuring politics, drama, and perceived biases. Caitlin Clark's defensive moves somehow cast her in a negative light, while Angel Reese capitalizes on a narrative of victimhood, garnering widespread empathy. Then there's Jemele Hill, introducing racial nuances into the mix as if they were celebratory streams. Suddenly, an intense foul captures headlines, and Rhyne Howard seems poised for confrontation akin to a reunion special. The league's focus appears to have shifted from the game itself to the overarching narratives. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about who shapes the narrative.
Fingernails. Jemele Hill. The fact that she believes that Caitlin Clark is receiving more coverage than a lot of the other black players. I don't like that Jemele Hill said this. I feel like she's always looking for an excuse to race bait. That's her whole identity, and I just don't like this. Caitlin Clark is phenomenal. She is just that good. She's setting all types of records, scoring, assists. I mean, she is incredible. So she deserves the amount of...
Just when it seemed Caitlin Clark's debut season had reached its peak of excitement, a high-definition showdown emerges featuring Indiana Fever's standout and Rhyne Howard of the Atlanta Dream. It appears basketball has taken on the guise of a Hollywood production. The focus has shifted from the game to something resembling a budget-friendly episode of Game of Thrones, filled with drama, tension, and theatrical moments. The sport now seems to prioritize spectacle over pure skill, leaving fans questioning whether they're witnessing a formidable competition or an intricate reality TV drama.
Hey, sports supporters, well, guess what? One of the master race baiters from the world of sports, if you still want to say she's involved in the world of sports, is back at it again. And I'm talking about Jemele Hill, who is one of the integral reasons why Around the Horn no longer exists on ESPN.
The latest chapter in the saga of who can bravely slam Caitlin Clark without facing ejection unfolded live on some obscure hardwood court in America. Naturally, the internet, known for its kindness and calm, responded with poise. Oh wait, just kidding. Instead, it erupted into chaos, igniting flames of controversy and tossing the debate into a metaphorical volcano rather than fostering a peaceful discussion. Social media transformed into a fierce battleground of fiery opinions and jaw-dropping reactions, fueling the firestorm further.
One person that's been definitely weighing in on this Caitlin Clark drama has been Jemele Hill. This is season 2 of Caitlin Clark and the Fever, and now we have a new Jemele Hill rant. She is one person that's been pretty vocal about everything. The Angel Reese situation, now this Rhyne Howard thing, which I thought was not a big deal whatsoever. Reported on it yesterday. She did kind of get into Caitlin Clark's head, kind of psyched her out. I believe that's why Caitlin Clark played so bad. But some new footage has emerged of the...
What's the scoop? Just a typical sideline incident where Rhyne Howard went full Secret Service mode on Caitlin Clark, pressing her aggressively as if demanding top-secret intel. Then came the moment everyone's buzzing about. A now-famous line caught on microphone or maybe just lip-read by 47 million internet detectives and their cats, whispering, "I'm not scared of you and you in Atlanta." That kind of exchange ignites endless debates and unleashes a wave of viral memes.
Got Caitlin Clark taking it back, and you can see the hold there. Then Rhyne Howard doesn't like that. And there's some words between the two players as Naz Hillman quickly comes over and gets her bestie out of the scuffle.
If you're wondering, that line is essentially the WNBA's equivalent of delivering a velvet-gloved slap in 18th century France. Sweet, yet loaded with tension. Pistols at dawn? Anyone? Just as the flames from that explosive exchange started to die down, Jemele Hill crashed into the scene, bringing chaos with the force of a wrecking ball drenched in lighter fluid. Hill jumped into the fray, calling for everyone to mellow out, insisting it's all just competition. But let's be honest, this so-called contest is packed with body checks, deliberate bumps, trash talk, and psychological mind games, turning up the heat to a boiling point.
Talking about something that was an interesting one. It was a really, really interesting one, and it was the kind of interactions between Rhyne Howard and Caitlin Clark. And if we're going to be honest, Rhyne Howard 100% got the better. Rhyne Howard, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, got the better of Caitlin Clark today on both ends of the floor. But these were some hilarious responses. So Caitlin Clark and Rhyne Howard get into it here. So Rhyne Howard he was fouling Caitlin Clark the whole game, and is going into Caitlin Clark coming back to Rhyne Howard. I'm not scared.
Some say Caitlin Clark isn't truly being targeted. It's all part of her character arc, or so they claim. But if character development means getting elbowed in the ribs every other possession and being guarded as if she's stolen someone's lunch money, then it's clear some folks view her treatment through a particular lens. It's as if the only reason people worry about Clark getting roughshod mid-dribble is because of her race, not because she's the league's rising star or because the WNBA desperately seeks more viewers. Every night, she's tackled like a rushing back in a high-stakes game. Supporters of Hill cheered her side, nodding like she just cured the entire WNBA Twitter community's sinus issues. Meanwhile, dedicated basketball fans who've watched Clark endure constant fouling and rough play questioned whether Hill was watching the same league or simply tossing darts at wild hot takes scribbled in crayon. The glaring gap between perception and reality reveals a deep fracture within the debate. To some, it's a league of fierce competition. To others, it's a story tinged with racial undertones that may not even exist. This complex, controversial issue continues to ignite intense discussions, highlighting how perceptions can sharply diverge from the truth.
Talk about this, the post from Brittany Griner, and I don't. One thing I don't understand is that, like, there is some kind of flimsy evidence, I guess. Like, we're not lip readers. We're not lip readers. She probably says trash. Like, it sounds like she has said. It looks like what it apparently says is effing white.
Let's take a moment to confront the truly astonishing reality we're witnessing. Caitlin Clark might be the only athlete on the planet who can rack up 30 points and still get blamed for breathing too loudly near an opponent. And the coaching tactics? They're just as outrageous. If you think this is merely players going all WWE with reckless moves, think again. Some coaches are devising plans like, Amber, apply full court press until she questions her life choices. Jada, I want you to accidentally hip check her into the third row. And Megan, you're on eyebrow patrol. Scowls only, no mercy. The message is crystal clear. If you shut down Caitlin Clark, you neutralize the Indiana fever. Maybe, just maybe, you'll get a quick highlight on SportsCenter before they cut back to LeBron's summer workout montage. But honestly, this isn't tough defense. It's an exorcism disguised as a basketball game. Players are swatting at her as if she's a pesky mosquito in July. 1 second, she's dribbling up the court, and the next, she's entangled in limbs and elbows looking like a scene from Mission Impossible. Elbow protocol. The level of physicality has escalated to such absurd heights that it borders on the comical, a chaotic spectacle, leaving fans questioning whether they're watching basketball or a staged WWE event.
That should be celebrated, and it's because of Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it, Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it fucked up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. What's your opinion if they want your opinion, man, early on? Because everybody is looking for you to say anything, and they're going to splice it and cut it and make it a negative thing. And I think for her, the one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. I saw for the first time that they had a chartered plane.
And yet, every time a player collides with Caitlin Clark, body checking her into next week, the media responds with a collective shrug, a loud and clear, "That's just basketball." Really? Because I've played basketball and I can tell you, I never had to consider wearing a mouthguard just to avoid biting my own tongue during a headlock. The chaos has spiraled so wildly out of control that Caitlyn probably checks under her bed for defenders, just to be safe before she falls asleep. And let's not forget the Kennedy Carter incident, because nothing screams normal basketball contact like barreling into someone's back at the speed of sound, fueled purely by hostility. That wasn't defense. It was Twitter rage, a musical in motion. Now it's Rhyne Howard's turn. Another chapter in the playbook of pretending this is just hustle, when in reality, it's outright mugging. The cherry on top? Jemele Hill retweeted the clip, lecturing everyone like she's the WNBA Supreme Court. She's basically telling fans, calm down, peasants. This is how competition works. It's not targeted or excessive. It's spirited aggression wrapped in a hug of animosity. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out there getting crossed so hard you'd think she owes child support. But don't be fooled. It's all just intensity, right? Want to see what's not just basketball? Repeatedly going after the league's most marketable star, as if she's wearing a jersey that says, "Please tackle me." I enjoy it. If Caitlin Clark were a Disney princess, every other player would be her evil stepsisters, trying to steal her shoes and push her down the stairs.
But it was a rough night for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Last night, she only scored 3 points in a blowout loss to the New York Liberty. But it was a game on Saturday between the Fever and the Chicago Sky that had a lot of people talking. Fans were so hyped for Caitlin, Angel Reese, and Camila Cardoso to all be back on the same court. However, the moment that made headlines, this right here, the hard foul involving Clark.
And let's talk about the WNBA leadership. Oh, they're doing such a stellar job at standing up for player safety. By stellar, I mean they're hiding under their desks, praying that ratings don't tank if Caitlin Clark decides to take her talents overseas next season, where, get this, basketball is played by rules. Where's the league's top brass? Maybe meditating in a soundproof tank? Because while Clark is out there being treated like she's trying to cross enemy lines, the league's leadership is completely MIA. If you listen carefully, you can hear the deafening silence of management echoing in Dolby Atmos. Some of you might be thinking, well, she asked for it, she's so popular. Oh, so now being famous means it's open season. That's the new logic. Someone better tell Beyoncé to watch out for elbow drops at her next concert. Caitlyn didn't crown herself as the face of the WNBA. That was the league, the networks, and the fans. And now, she's being treated like she tried to cheat in American Gladiators. She's become the Hunger Games tribute of women's basketball, fighting through a gauntlet of hostility while the league's leadership stands idly by, silent and absent, like spectators at a disaster waiting to happen.
Foul down at 6, and it was a ticky-tack fouls, and again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job. Not sure if that was actually a foul, but again, that's or the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier.
Is literally driven so many eyeballs to the game. Like they ain't flying commercial, they're flying charter. They're gonna make more money. They're playing on ESPN consistently. People are actually talking about it. Now they talk about it through the vein of Caitlin Clark. You're never going to hear a topic on ESPN discussed that doesn't involve Caitlin Clark somehow, most likely.
And let's not overlook the fact that this bruising, beat her into submission approach might be the worst idea since someone decided to reboot Cats. Do they truly believe this will work in the long run? Spoiler alert, it won't. If Caitlin Clark ends up injured, or worse, walks away, it's a massive loss for the league. Congratulations, you've just lost your star and handed her over to the EuroLeague, where she'll be dropping 50 points a game, sipping espresso, and facing defenses that are built with real basketball skill. The WNBA should genuinely be worried. Clark is a magnet, drawing millions of fans who finally find the league exciting, engaging, and marketable. Fans buy tickets, jerseys, and ESPN Plus subscriptions just to watch her perform, only to see her body slammed like it's WWE Rookie Edition. If she leaves, it's not just one player walking out the door, it's a mass exodus. The league will be left scrambling, wondering where all the viewers went trying to promote a double overtime game between Connecticut and Chicago that draws fewer eyes than a simple tutorial on making toast. This isn't about protecting Clark because she's some fragile princess. It's about preventing the normalization of assault as a defensive tactic. This isn't hockey. Not every contact needs to be a fight. The league must wake up and understand that safeguarding players means enforcing rules that foster safety, not encouraging unnecessary violence.
Clark's treatment by other players on the court is just getting to be egregious. Because as we saw Trinity Carter, she hip-checked Caitlin Clark from behind, at the same time calling her the B word. You could see Angel Reese over on the sideline cheering. This is treatment that Caitlin Clark is receiving for very specific reasons. I think we really need to focus on the race part of all of this, because I do believe that if Caitlin Clark were this amazing and she were not white, nobody would have an issue with it. They probably would be propping her up, celebrating her greatness. And another question that I keep asking myself when reading the coverage on this is what would happen if the roles...
We're not arguing that Caitlin Clark shouldn't be tested or challenged. As a professional athlete, she's certainly prepared for intense competition. But there's a stark difference between fierce rivalry and outright vendettas. What we're witnessing now isn't merely offense. It's a perilous blend of contact sport and personal grudges, unfolding without proper whistles or penalties. Ironically, Clark probably doesn't even seek special protection. She's out there playing with heart, not flopping for sympathy or missed calls. That said, she shouldn't be used as a punching bag by every frustrated defender with a chip on their shoulder or a Twitter beef to settle. The saddest part, it's clear she no longer enjoys this. Every game becomes a countdown to the next incident, the next altercation, the next ridiculous hot take blaming her for everything wrong on the court. It's absurd how players act like they're getting paid per shove, and coaches seem to cling to some outdated playbook from Sun Tzu, prioritizing chaos over sportsmanship. Meanwhile, the league acts like this all will blow over once the playoffs arrive. But that's wishful thinking. Unless the WNBA finds the courage to discipline reckless behavior and starts valuing its star players as assets rather than expendable cannon fodder, this cycle will only intensify, irreparably damaging the sport's integrity.
One other thing I did want to talk about was a commentary where it was slightly adversarial, kind of to the viewer and a little bit, I would say, to the WNBA. They were pounding heavy that this is how the women want to be treated. Unrivaled has gone above and beyond with the amenities for the players, down to having estheticians there. Of course, they have childcare options. They have, the gym, for complete first-class facilities in every aspect. And this has been, something that the players have really celebrated, and it seems like it's a directive from, the league.
Until then, sit back and enjoy the chaos. Episode 9 of Who Assaulted Caitlin Clark today airs next week, proudly sponsored by Advil Bandages and Blind Referees, because clearly, clarity and care are optional. Or don't tune in, because if this continues, Caitlin might just decide to tune out entirely, leaving all of us to wonder what the sport has become. We find ourselves in what looks like the WNBA's own political thriller, full of locker room espionage, sideline surveillance, and a superstar hunted as if she's the last golden goose on a struggling farm. But now, that goose is fighting back, draining threes from logo range and being accused of just making too much noise. It's painfully obvious. This has shifted from a basketball game into something far more bizarre, happening faster than a questionable technical foul. We're no longer pretending this is about fair play. Between Caitlin Clark's lightning-fast jump shots and Rhyne Howard's intense glare, the sport has morphed into a Shakespearean saga of race, power, status, and whether a rookie can dribble without facing an aggressive shove or a flying forearm. And when Caitlin responds with fierce sideline energy, suddenly the whole thing becomes a racial controversy. Experts and sociologists flood Twitter, diagnosing microaggressions amidst layups and free throws. It's no longer just basketball, it's become a battleground for politics, identity, and perception, with the game itself taking a back seat. If the league doesn't start addressing reckless behavior and safeguarding its stars, this chaos will only grow, undermining the sport's integrity and alienating fans who simply want to watch good basketball.
Had another, whatever you want to call it, confrontation in a WNBA game. But why is this happening? The Caitlin Clark phenomenon is one that I got wrong. I never really thought that Caitlin Clark would make the difference that she has in college basketball or in the WNBA. What other sports analogies are out there that are in any way similar to the impact that one individual has had on a larger sporting?
And then enters Jemele Hill, swinging her trademark hammer of hot takes with all the subtlety of a wrecking ball in a china shop.
And then enters Jemele Hill, wielding her signature hammer of hot takes with all the subtlety of a wrecking ball crashing through a china shop. According to her, this is all just sports. Healthy competition, nothing more. Nothing to see here, folks. Just move along. Keep your hands and logic firmly inside the ride. But the reality is stark. When every game concludes with Caitlin Clark being bumped, bashed, barked at, and borderline body slammed, it's no longer just competition. It's a perilous game, a scavenger hunt for her ACL. The truly tragic part? Who on earth still believes this is fun for Caitlin? She entered the league promising to revolutionize women's basketball, yet instead, she's witnessing a full-scale hazing ritual, a brutal initiation. At this rate, I wouldn't be shocked if her welcome gift was a Kevlar vest and a waiver form. Because this isn't just defensive basketball, it's targeted warfare. Some teams treat guarding Caitlin Clark like a quest straight out of Game of Thrones. Defeat the chosen one and claim the throne of relevance. Coaches are designing defensive schemes that resemble CIA operations, sweeping her legs, blocking her with their entire body weight, staring menacingly while pretending it's just part of their stance. It's tactical, ruthless, and dangerously close to crossing from fierce competition into outright intimidation. If this pattern persists, the league risks transforming into a battleground where star players must survive not just the game, but relentless assaults on their safety and dignity. This isn't sustainable, and it's no way to build the sport's future.
Just the last game, Rhyne Howard of the Atlanta Dream, she got in the face and tried to go after Caitlin Clark. Now, to Caitlin Clark's credit, she turned around and looked at her and said, "You don't scare me. You don't scare me." Caitlin Clark's getting fed up. And that's good. We know she put about 10 pounds of muscle on in the offseason. But nonetheless, these people want to try to tell you this is not about race? Stop the...
And what's the WNBA doing about it? Ah, yes, absolutely nothing. Perhaps they're too busy planning another Welcome Women brunch or issuing generic statements that say nothing at all. Because, let's face it, when your league's biggest star is constantly targeted, elbowed, shoved, slammed, shouldn't leadership step up beyond just letting the players play? But no, they prefer to turn a blind eye, pretending this is all just part of the game. That Caitlin Clark can't go a single quarter without someone trying to take her out, and we're supposed to accept it as good defense. If this pattern keeps up, Caitlin will need a bodyguard, and possibly a therapist, before the All-Star break. Yet, the league remains silent, letting chaos cast a shadow over talent and player safety. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on the screen.